Well, here we go with. Okay, how do I start an episode again? I gotta hype myself up. How can we do this? Okay.
There's even words on the document.
There's even
too.
words. Welcome everybody to the Party Invite podcast. I am your host Tegan, joined as always by Vilos and Obsidianite.
Hello.
Oh, hey.
And we're here to talk about video games. This week on the show, we are going to talk about a party topic, which is the Xbox Showcase, as well as the recent Nintendo Direct Partnership Conference. No, that's not the word. What's it called?
Partner Showcase.
Showcase. That's the one. Yeah, those happened recently, and we're going to talk about them. There's lots of stuff to cover there, not just with the games on those platforms, but some things we're going to see in the industry at large. Vilos, you brought this topic to the table from the Xbox Showcase. It was an Xbox podcast.
Yeah, it wasn't really a showcase. That's the big funny thing about it. Is
right,
that
that's what I was saying.
official...
It's not a showcase. Definitely
Yes.
not a showcase.
But this is the thing that we were waiting on, right? That business announcement sort of affair. Okay.
They officially called it the Xbox Business Update, which is very weird for
It's so
them
corporate.
to do that.
Ew.
It is.
It's a very corporate thing, but it's also something that it's like, you know what? We probably talked to our shareholders about this for a few hours. We might as well get it to you. Because the big thing was a lot of really stupid rumors and speculation were going around, and everybody was taking it so seriously. And then, thankfully, it took less than a week of all this rumor mill stuff going on for Phil Spencer to be like, just shut up. Let's do this. Let's record something. So they did it for the Xbox podcast. So the biggest deal, what really started the most conversation, is really that Xbox games are going to be a little bit less exclusive now. Whether that's a part of their, the Activision Blizzard merger, that's a big thing. They've obviously made some big business decisions, and we'll go over a couple things there. But specifically, Phil, right off the bat, addressed it and said, no, not every Xbox game is going to no longer be exclusive. But we found that it's smarter. It's in our interests, as well as the interest of gamers, to release a few particular titles. It'll obviously help their bottom line and help the actual communities of these particular games. And we found out what those games were within a couple days of this podcast that they did. So 4 prior Xbox exclusives are coming to other systems. What that was confirmed to be is Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves to PS5, and Pentiment and Grounded to Switch and PS4, PS5.
Those are very aptly assigned, I think.
Yeah. I think that was a really good move on their part. Hi-Fi Rush is coming out on March 18th. Sea of Thieves is going to be April 30th, and Pentiment has already released on all the systems right after the announcement, basically. And Grounded is April 16th. So we've still got a little bit of time for a couple of those. But yeah, perfect choices. Games that have communities. Grounded and Sea of Thieves, we've all played before. And it's notable that those are community games. They have a lot of people playing them, but the end game is, getting people back to the Game Pass ecosystem, getting them into certain microtransaction-y kind of things. They don't want to leave money on the table in the regards of those. Now, Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment, great choices. I do think it's kind of funny that Pentiment is one of those. Mm-hmm. But obviously that's, as we know, one of the best games on the Xbox platform, period.
We have personal investment into some Pentiment.
Right. We didn't even finish that game, but we all have fond memories of it. That was a real treat. A 10 out of 10 and a lot of reviews from a lot of places,
It's already a modern classic, so I think that was just a good business decision. And it's like $20.
Yeah.
You really can't beat that.
And you can have Vespas wherever you go now on the Switch.
Exactly. So it's really cool that they did that, and it does open up the doors, and it opens up the conversation. as Phil said, he's like, keep your expectations in check, y'all. Like, you're not gonna see Senua's Saga anywhere else for a while, at the very least. So,
is Halo coming to PlayStation?
Not yet.
never.
Are you sure? Okay.
That's a never.
Because it's on
I
PC. I'm just saying.
I would love to have Halo on Switch, though. That would be so fun.
Would you really? Considering how it would look?
Yes, I would.
No.
No.
The best Halos were.
But yeah, you can run
not
Halo
on
1 on it. You know?
That's rude. You can definitely
But it's true,
run better than
unfortunately.
Halo 1 on
And
it.
this is coming from a Nintendo. What did you call it? A Nintendo faithful, right?
Yeah.
That's coming
you could,
from me.
You
I'm
could
just
definitely get Halo Reach on it. Come on, you could get you could maybe get Halo 4 on it though.
Maybe,
but that's,
man. I mean,
that's beside the point.
we saw Mortal
There
Kombat. You know,
there is another game that is gonna switch up, and it wasn't an exclusive, but just gonna throw it out there for you. There's a certain demonic game or something that's gonna be an Xbox thing in the future. What game is that?
Metal Hellsinger. No, it's actually Diablo 4, y'all. As a result of the merger, Activision Blizzard is going to be coming to the Game Pass March 28th, y'all. And actually, I'm excited about that because Diablo is a game series that I loved when I was playing on 3, but like I didn't pay for that, or it wasn't 3 that I played. It was 2. It was 2. Yes.
Was it the remaster of 2?
It was the remaster of 2. And I was just like, I love dungeon crawlers. I love isometric games. And I mean, whenever I play Heroes of the Storm, it always saddened me that I didn't have as close to a connection to the Diablo characters as I wanted. I love me some Nazebo, the witch doctor, with the spirits whisper agreement and, summoning the totems and everything. It was good. It was good, but I didn't have as much of a connection to them as I wanted. And now with Diablo 4 coming to Game Pass, which is something I do have, I am excited to play this game. I love me some dungeon crawlers, and I hope that all of my fellow Game Pass people will be joining me in playing because I will definitely make multiple characters to play with y'all. I'm just putting that out there.
It's a fun game. I've been playing it with my partner pretty casually, but it's a lot of fun. I'm excited that more people will just suddenly own the game because they have Game Pass, where you don't have to decide if you want to pick it up. I mean, I got mine in a bundle with my video card, so I didn't actually buy the game.
I remember that ordeal. That was like a whole thing.
It was the whole thing because I thought I lost it, and then I had it, and then I lost it, and then I had it again. But I have had a good casual time with that game. Nothing too serious. I don't know if it's what I originally wanted it to be, but it is. I like the game as it is, as I've been playing on co-op. If I wasn't playing on co-op, I probably wouldn't be interested in it. But again, the fact that this is going to be available on Game Pass, so people will just have it in their pocket, is great. You can. I mean, I'm playing 2-player, but I assume you can play up to 4-player. I haven't looked that up, but I assume you.
Pretty
could.
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
It just seems like a good time because I would roll another character just to mindlessly run through there, just because so many games are a great excuse to just be hanging out in voice chat with your friends, and that seems like a great game to do that with because you can kind of zone out a little bit.
This is definitely like a Mountain Dew Doritos couch co-op game.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
That's a great way to describe that. So Diablo is coming to Game Pass, but my understanding is that essentially the whole Blizzard catalog is going to come to Game Pass. I'm pretty sure League of Legends is on Game Pass, which is, of course, not Blizzard. It's Riot. Mm-hmm. But I've never tried to load up the client there, and I'm interested how it's different from the Riot app if you load up League of Legends. But it's probably not that much different because other apps in similar cases, like if I launch Halo Infinite from Steam, it's the exact same thing.
Yeah. Or if you launch Titanfall 2 from the Xbox app, it'll just open up the EA app and then you can launch it from there.
Sure. So there probably isn't going to be a big difference on what the user experience is on any of that. It'll just simply be availability. But I do wonder if it's Blizzard's whole catalog, does World of Warcraft come to Game Pass? Like, both Game Pass and WoW are subscriptions, but would an MMO ever come to Game Pass like this? I don't know. And honestly, I don't even care that much. But I think it's an interesting question. I mean, I don't have a dog in the fight. But I wonder what that would look like now that those companies are merged. Like, would an MMO ever come to a service like this, and get new numbers? I don't know. But
I will say that there's like precedence as far as like duplicate subscriptions are concerned,
mhm.
because in order to play Titanfall 2, you had to have a subscription to like EA Play or something. Or I don't know if it was required, but I remember when I installed Titanfall 2, it told me on Game Pass, it was like, hey, you also have a subscription to EA Play. You are paying for both of these right now. Chop one, right? So it let me know so that I wasn't paying for the subscription twice to access the same game.
Mhm.
So I feel like since there's a precedent for that, if World of Warcraft or any other subscription based experience comes to Game Pass, you'd probably just pay for the one.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I'm not really sure, because then where does the money go? Does the money go to Xbox? Does the money go to, like in the case of Final Fantasy 14, would it go to like Square Enix or Sony or what have you? Or like I don't know. I just have the one personal precedent that I've experienced.
Yeah, so I wonder if we'll hear more about that, or maybe the answer is obviously that they just won't do that, and maybe that's all that is. But I'd be interested to see if anything comes from that. The other Blizzard one that I think of is Overwatch, of course, which is now a free to play game. So that doesn't change a whole lot of stuff there. But if it was available through the Game Pass loader, I don't know. Maybe people would be more likely to see it. I think visibility is the only thing that really changes there, because it's already cross-play. It's already free. If you're on, there's a Blizzard, there's the Battle.net launcher, but if they put that launcher connected to the Game Pass app, I mean, I'm already in the Game Pass app already, so I think that's the whole point, is that you're just in a place where all your stuff lives already, so it's like a free chance for more games to get more eyeballs on them, but that's just speculation. But Diablo 4 is interesting because that's, I mean, a $60 game. Still, I mean, still pretty new. It feels new to me. I don't remember when it actually came out, but it still feels new.
I just think it's a nice call, because beforehand they were just like, well, doesn't everybody have phones? Right?
Yep.
But a lot of people actually have Game Pass. So
Don't you
I
guys
mean, a
all
lot of
have
people
Game
have
Pass?
phones too, but like
Diablo Immortal is like in the trash already, so yeah.
Right. Cool. So yeah, so that's a product of the merger that we've seen: Activision, Blizzard, King, and something else now. Isn't there one more?
there's more.
Wait. Microsoft,
ABK,
Activision,
right?
King, Blizzard. So Activision, Blizzard is two.
Hmm.
Microsoft, King. And I think that's the biggest company in gaming. I think I heard that mentioned somewhere, that that's the biggest company. I don't see who could possibly be any bigger.
As far as money goes, yeah, Embracer still has the like number of studios
Sure.
on them, but
Yeah, but
they're already
to be
they're killing
perfectly
them all
frank,
too,
fuck
so.
those guys.
Exactly.
Because they're just killing studios. Yeah. I don't even want their name in my mouth.
But I mean, that takes you to your point. Like, what is this doing to employees versus what it's doing for players? I mean,
You know what? That's a great question. So in the showcase, Phil Spencer specifically pointed out that the one of the reasons that they are making this move isn't just because it's good for players. Because if you're, if you agree with my perspective, more platform availability, more crossplay is always a good thing. Because from a consumer standpoint, I have nothing to gain from exclusivity. Nothing. Not even some console war bragging rights or something. Like, if my friend cannot play the game with me, that's bad for me. If I own a PlayStation and I can't play Xbox exclusives, that is bad for me. So the idea is that as a consumer, as a player, I want to play as many things as possible, like have certainly availability to play any game. But the other side of this, which I maybe like more, is that they mentioned, because the games industry didn't grow last year, which has been the cause for all the layoffs, including Embracer Group. The industry didn't grow, so jobs had to get cut. And if Microsoft wants to diversify, to not put all their eggs in one basket, then their answer to that is to spread to more platforms. So I think that's great, because layoffs suck for everybody, for the company and the employees, obviously. And I think diversifying to find a wider market is a smart move. Phil Spencer mentioned explicitly during that, I keep wanting to say interview, but the podcast, that he thinks that exclusivity is probably just going to continue to shrink over the next 5 to 10 years, which is fine with me. Because, like I said, doesn't benefit me. Like, I understand there were business reasons to do it in the past. You know, you had Sony and Xbox competing with each other, but things are a lot murkier. And there were rumors before this podcast, before the Xbox podcast, that Microsoft might be getting out of the console game entirely, which is not true. Certainly not
like
today.
pulling a Sega, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's all very interesting. I think it's a smart move. Diversifying seems great to me. You know, I ain't no shareholder, but more job stability with a wider audience sounds good to me. Means less layoffs, so I'm interested in that.
Yeah, and the funny thing to add to that, just for context, the game industry as a whole grows between 5 and 10 billion per year. So it was really, Microsoft didn't necessarily grow all that much because of their losses that they were taking, and the fact that they kind of delayed all their damn games to this year. So it was really nice to hear the official number. They straight up said, hey, 10 games from Xbox Game Studios are releasing in 2024. Bet on it. And then they just straight up said, we'll talk about it in June.
Yeah. So we'll hear more. It was just nice to hear them immediately respond to these rumors that have been thrown around, because I've only heard it all like third hand. You know, I'm not on Twitter to see the rumor mill spinning up. Whether it's believable or not. I missed pretty much all of that. So then to hear that these rumors were going around, I'm over here almost rolling my eyes. I'm like, Xbox getting out of the console game? What are we talking about? So to hear Phil Spencer immediately just be like, look, guys, everybody chill out. Like, it shouldn't take me getting up in front of, I'm paraphrasing here, but it shouldn't take Phil Spencer getting up in front of the camera to diffuse some of these, like, to what sound to me like pretty far-fetched rumors.
Yeah. I feel like they have somebody in mind that they're like, you know what? I bet so-and-so started this shit. And it just rolled from there. And I really hope that we find out that like one particular person is called out and like fired over it. It's like, listen, this bro right here, he's just been saying crap to like these 20 content creators, and then they just go forward with it.
Like Reddit user, my uncle works at Xbox or something.
Yeah, because it was bad. Like I really, like, everybody needs to sympathize with those of us that are Twitter fiends, because the leak and rumor mill over the past 2 months has just been abysmal, and definitely eye rolling is the number one thing to do on that.
It's crazy that you say that, because I'm on Twitter like all the time, but the only thing I've ever heard about Xbox was that the business thing was coming up. I didn't hear any like rumors. I didn't see anything like that at all. I saw people talking about how games were going to be coming to other consoles, like Grounded and all that were coming to other consoles and stuff. And I was like, oh, that'd be cool if true. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it was true, as we found out during the business podcast, but I didn't see any of these other rumors at all. Like, in fact, some of the stuff that you guys are talking about, this is the first time I've ever heard anything about it. And I don't know if that's just because my algorithm on Twitter is like not Xbox oriented at all or anything like that, or maybe I need like a blue check mark or something. Like, I don't know, but it's so crazy how dramatized and outland, like, it's almost like how people just reach and grasp for straws whenever like Nintendo Directs happen. It's just like Smash Bros is over, and yet whenever we get some kind of like direct announcement, people are always just like, oh, someone coming to Smash. I'm just, no, stop. It's not even funny at this point. It's not even funny.
I will say it is funny that another rumor came right after the Hi-Fi Rush confirmation. It's like, oh no, sorry, actually we meant to say Hi-Fi Rush isn't going to be on the current Switch. It's going to be on Switch 2. And it's like, it's so funny where it's going. But I digress on that. But we got some good stuff from Xbox. We got some good confirmation. The one other thing that I definitely wanted to bring out in that conversation was Sarah Bond saying that the next Xbox system will be the largest technical leap you've ever seen in a hardware generation.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
I think it means we're about to get a legitimate Xbox fridge.
Like, but you don't say that without confidence. You know what I mean? Like, that's not something that you give to the people that you already know are doing this bullshit rumor stuff. Like,
I mean,
Or
there are a
do
lot
you?
of people who say a lot of things very confidently that don't turn out well. Like anything Muskie Boy's ever done.
but this entire generation has been the apology for the Xbox One generation.
It's the apology tour.
You know, it this entire gen has been. So, I don't know for that to come out of Sarah Bond's mouth was a little bit mind blowing to me. But the one rumor that I am just hoping does actually happen, I'm not expecting it at all. Is what if we did get a Switch competitor from Xbox? That would be really cool.
Oh, that is interesting.
That'd
I mean,
be pretty
especially
cool.
since it seems like the patent for the technology has expired or something because we have so many Switch likes out now. I mean, we've got the
There's a
Steam
ton of
Deck,
them, yeah.
we've got like all of the Android emulation ones that I can't
The
remember by name.
ROG.
Yeah, uh, there are so many. I think did Ouya even come out with one? I feel like.
Not Ouya, but there's the Aya Neo. The Aya is the brand that has come
The
out with like
Aya, okay.
Yeah,
6
not
or
not the
7
Ouya.
different.
Totally different.
Yeah,
Totally
yeah.
different.
It's unfortunately I know both of those systems and I hate it. But yeah, Sarah
And then the
Bond
PlayStation
said,
Portal or whatever too. That's also a Switch-like sort of affair. And then like the Amazon Backbone or whatever, the Android Backbone, which is basically a foldable PlayStation Portal. I'm just like,
Oh goodness.
so it wouldn't surprise me at all if Xbox came out with like something like that.
But we're hearing more about whatever the next system is this holiday, which is
Right
funny
around the
to hear.
corner.
Yeah,
St. Patrick's Day's a holiday, so we better get some news. I'm coming for you, Sarah.
it's a little early.
I like
Little
that.
She said
premature.
holiday, right? She didn't say holiday season.
Yep.
There's a holiday like all the time. So Sarah,
Sarah,
Sarah, please.
one of you wrote this fun fact down here. Was that you, Vilos?
Oh yeah. It was kind of a funny thing, and this actually does kind of get us into our Nintendo Direct stuff a little bit. So, fun fact: Sea of Thieves is the first time a Rareware game has been on a Sony console in Rare's entire 30+ year history. Entire time that Rare's been around, they have been a Nintendo thing until Xbox bought them.
Which is still so sad to me. I hate that happened.
Yeah, it's pretty
Nintendo
sad
Rare was
stuff.
like the peak, ultimate combination of just I could rant on that forever because I mean we got what Banjo-Kazooie, Killer Instinct, Donkey Kong, like all of that, like Perfect Dark. It was so perfect, and then okay. Anyway, I don't.
Then Viva Pinata and Grabbed by the Ghoulies. I mean, come on.
Grabbed by the
how
Ghoulies?
How are you dropping those off the list there?
I never actually
Jeez.
played Viva Pinata. I was actually very introduced to it for the first time just the other weekend. One of our more prominent community members showed me. It was actually around Valentine's Day, I think. He had booted it up for just to play it because it's one of his favorite games ever. And apparently, it's like whenever they get together, you can have them do you know how in Child Garden there's a mating ritual that they had a little dance or whatever.
It's really cute, yeah.
In the Child Garden it's just there's a ring of flowers and they do a little patty cake or whatever and then there's an egg. Well, we were talking about the Child Garden and he was comparing it to the Viva Pinata affair. How you raise the artificial monsters or whatever, and then they have their own little mating dance and stuff, and it's crazy. You have to have a structure in there, and then the two things go into the structure, and then you guide them through a maze, and then at the end of the maze when they meet up, they do a little dance, and there's dancing moves, disco lights and music, and it's a whole thing. And I'm just this is so convoluted. Is this
What game is this?
Viva Pinata?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
of really good videos on it. I forget what the worm's called, but there's a worm creature that is
It's
really
called
adorable.
the worm because it's
There
it's
you
a
go.
whirly worm.
And
The
it's-
only reason I know that is because that's what I watched do the dancing.
Yeah, its
is the
mating
worm.
dance is hilarious because they're just two
Yeah, they
worms
actually
doing
do
the worm at each other, and it's so funny.
It's so good.
But yeah, Rare is trying to get back into the forefront of gamers' minds, I think, because Sea of Thieves is good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a lot to say about it. It's good. It deserves to be played, and it's really the only thing that Rare's got going for them right now.
Excuse me. I think you failed to remember that they have something coming to the Nintendo Switch Online that is a fan cult classic favorite. Killer Instinct. It's Killer Instinct, y'all. If you're watching the video right now, I'm holding up the original SNES Killer Instinct cartridge. And the only reason I had this on my desk, I didn't pull it up just to make this comment. I have it on my desk because I talked about it on stream the other weekend.
Of course.
Because I love this game. I'm so happy that I could just take it anywhere and kick people's ass, and it's gonna be so fun. And I hope it has online. I haven't actually loaded it up yet to find out, but I hope it has online because I'm trying to kick some people's ass.
Okay, so we're going straight into what you're talking about then, Sid. Is
the
Nintendo Direct happen?
Yeah, the partner showcase, the one that we've been mentioning every so often. Yes, that very one. And as part of the announcement, alongside the Killer Instinct and other things, I think what was it called? Turbo Blast. I can't remember. It was another one that people were excited about. That was like was it that Blastcore? You're right. I was so excited about Killer Instinct, I blacked out. I didn't see anything. I don't remember anything else from that. The NSO announcement. But yeah, that's coming, which is one of Rare's best entries. People, that's one of the most beloved franchises outside of Conker's Bad Fur Day, right?
Battletoads was the other one that was really a killer.
Is Battletoads Rare? Is it? Okay, I didn't actually know. Okay, well that's something I learned today. I
gotta find which title it is because it's not I don't remember.
It's not actual Battletoads. It's like Battletoads Smash Verse or something like that, right? Like I said, I blacked out once Killer Instinct showed up on the screen. I was like, everything else is gone. But what's really neat about that is that just the Direct in general is that before we even got it, people this is the thing that my Twitter was fired up about. It wasn't about the Xbox rumor mill and everything. It was the Nintendo rumor mill, and people were talking about how, oh, we're getting a bunch of Princess Peach Showtime announcements. They revealed a bunch of new transformations and all this stuff about their new upcoming game that's coming out, I think, in March. And, so they're revealing all this stuff about their mainline stuff. They're just like, oh, we're not getting a regular Direct. We're getting a partnership Direct Mini or whatever, right? And it turned out to be kind of right because we got the partner showcase. However, it was the first partner showcase, another fun fact, that was not a mini. We got a full-on partner, it's a whole showcase. It wasn't like a show purse or a show clutch or a show pocket. It was a whole showcase.
Showcase.
Yes. And a lot of it was, some stuff that's reviving some old classics and stuff, but it featured some of these games that we know to be coming multi-platform. Of course, we got the Grounded announcement. We got, what else did we see on there? Pentiment. And also, for some reason, this is the one that threw me for a loop. Star Wars Battlefront? The original one for what was that? PlayStation? Was it PlayStation 1? I know Battlefront 2 was on PS2.
No, it was the PS2 GameCube era.
Yeah.
Okay. So Battlefront 1, because I didn't play the first one.
It's good.
But yeah, the classic edition or something like that is coming to the Switch. I think it's so cool because, like you said, Tegan, about Halo 1 being able to run on the Switch, that the Switch is definitely going to be able to run Battlefront 1, and I am excited about that because there are so many people that are just head over heels for the Battlefront franchise, and it's going to be accessible on the Switch.
That means they're reopening servers for this. That's
are they going to be the old servers, or do we know that information?
Well, I think they'd be new servers. But you know what? I had a coworker who was telling me about generally this, and it was the first I had heard about it. I didn't know that Nintendo had announced this, and I don't really have follow-up information here. But what he was telling me was that they were essentially bringing the game back to allow people to experience the multiplayer. Because I've played local multiplayer, but I can play with one or two other friends who come over. But I never had a chance to do the essentially big team battle that game clearly supported.
It's 32 versus 32.
That's crazy.
Especially for that time period when it first came out.
Oh yeah. So I never saw any of that. I never really played online at all. I don't even think. Did I own it on GameCube? I think I owned it on Xbox, but one way or another, I definitely didn't play online at all. So the fact that this is coming back, I don't need it to be a remaster or anything. Just to have the servers online is enough for me to be interested enough to jump in. So excited about that.
Trust me, it doesn't look any better.
That's fine.
It's exactly the same. But you know what?
But
the Switch can run it.
Yep.
The smoothest 64-player definitely 3 generations ago game that you'll ever see. Yeah.
I didn't say it was going to be smooth. I said it could run.
I can't wait.
It's actually going to be 25 frames per second.
Well, there are a couple of games that have dedicated servers on the Switch because Nintendo doesn't typically do anything like that. They use like the peer-to-peer system, but like Mortal Kombat and Fortnite are the first ones that come to mind that have dedicated servers. So I wouldn't be surprised if something like this, which would clearly need its own dedicated servers. I wouldn't be surprised if, since it's going to be multi-platform on PlayStation, on Switch, on everything, if they had their own dedicated servers as well. And I think the high-res games also have dedicated servers, the ones that you could play on Switch, like Rogue Company, and I think Smite. But I think they also have dedicated servers. I wouldn't be surprised if we got that with Star Wars Battlefront.
Neat.
Yeah. But I mean, those are just the multi-platform games coming. It's a partner showcase. So of course, they have to talk about their partners. And there's a lot of good stuff coming. I was obsessed with Rolling Rascals for like those 2 days. And I still haven't jumped back into it since then. But I still want to. And part of that is because I am inspired by the next game I'm going to talk about, which is Penny's Big Breakaway. It's another, what do you even call that genre of game? Like, it's not a Sonic-like, but it is a Sonic-like. I don't want to call it a Sonic-like. It's like
I'm still going to call it that.
Like a speed platformer affair, like momentum platform. I don't know. There's definitely going to be a genre title formed around it because it's starting to take off now. You got Rolling Rascals, you have Penny's Big Breakaway, you had Freedom Planet, and that whole franchise. There's some other ones that we were considering for the podcast where we debuted our perspective on Rolling Rascals. So it's definitely going to be a genre that's up and coming.
So Steam calls it a kinetic 3D platformer.
I like that. A kinetic platformer. I like that a lot. It's definitely better on the tongue than Sonic-like.
Yeah, I feel like we got to name everything in that genre now. I mean, anything they get away from the blank likes,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Metroidvania, like roguelike, because roguelikes, I actually didn't know this until like fairly recently, like within the last 5 years, that genre is named after the game Rogue, right? I never knew that. I just thought it was like, oh, what a cute little name.
That's what I had thought too. Yeah, I mean, like if you know what a roguelike is, then cool, then you understand. But having, it's like defining a word, like you're like, what's this word mean? And the word is in the definition. It's like, this isn't enough information. Like, I have to know something else. I have to look something else up to know what you're telling me. Anyway, I mean, just an aside, but that does bother me that's so common in games. But it is what it is.
I mean, if you're describing it to someone else, like, oh yeah, it's a game that plays like Sonic. So if you know what Sonic like games to expect, then you kind of get an idea. But I don't want that to be the name of the genre. I would rather it be like a property that you use to describe the genre rather than be the name of the genre itself. And so kinetic platformer, that really resonates with me. I'm going to start using that now, even to talk about Sonic games, because it is, a kinetic platformer. It's the reason I tried to stay away from the word like Smash Clone, right?
Yeah.
It's a platform fighter or platform brawler.
Things like that. Foam Stars is a kinetic splatformer,
Wow. It is, though.
It is.
Is it a platformer though?
I mean, you're jumping around. You're zooming.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Territorial. Like a turf war.
We'll workshop.
We'll get there.
We'll workshop.
We'll workshop it. Yeah.
Okay. But back to Nintendo. How did we get on kinetic platformers here?
Because we were talking about Penny's Big Breakaway. A bunch of the partner games that are like the partner showcasing that they were showcasing. Penny's Big Breakaway, one of those games. Highly anticipated World of Goo 2. I did not realize how much of a following World of Goo actually had until I saw this announcement because people were going crazy.
Same.
I've never played that before. And I hate that I've said that so frequently in this episode. But I'm going to fix that because it's coming to Switch. And I could play it now. Accessibility, right? So, do you have any input on that at all? Can you enlighten me as to what World of Goo is actually about? Because I've seen the clips, but I still don't understand the premise.
It's pretty much like a Loco Roco meets Bridge Constructor.
Oh God!
Sort of thing.
Okay, now I need to look up those two games.
Well, like you're goo, so you're literally blobs of stuff that roll around, right? So it starts with the Loco Roco platforming type of thing, but then the whole thing is that it's puzzle based. Your goal is to get to this place, and you usually have to create something in order to get.
So you're using your Loco Roco goo to make the bridges to connect destination to destination
Yeah.
Okay, and that's making your world of goo. Now, are you escorting anyone? Or is it just
I don't think so.
constructing the bridges? So it's not like Lemmings where you have to like guide the Lemmings to the exit or whatever. It's like
I don't remember actually.
I'm watching a
You
trailer
might
right
be
now.
escorting more goo to
okay.
the end,
Like I
but
genuinely
yeah.
do not know, so I'm at like that's why
Yeah,
I'm
I
asking.
only see like you putting up walls and bridges to transport goo or tar or lava or all these things. But I have seen some characters in here, so you're probably going to also use those same tools to like move them or protect them. But I don't think it's like the portal bridge constructor, which is like in this whole genre. In the portal bridge constructor, you build the bridge and then a cart starts at the beginning and it moves forward until it gets to the end, similar to the Lemmings. But as far as I can tell from World of Goo's trailer, uh, it's just you guiding Goo mostly. But yeah, that was a game that I was just like, what is this? And two people that were in the room with me were just like, oh my God, I can't believe they're making this new one finally. I'm like, okay, I'm happy that you're happy.
I'm so happy you're in the same boat as I am because it completely like whizzed by me and people were just like, ah! I'm
Right.
like,
I mean, yeah, the first one came out in 2008 on Steam, so
Wow. That's like
It's
was it
30
not a
been
years
Wii
ago.
game too? Or am I thinking of something
I
else?
mean, I'm pretty sure it's come out to everything since then, for sure.
Okay.
I can see a physical Switch copy. Vilas will have that in his hands in no time.
Oh my gosh! And what if it came with like a tub of like slime? You know, like the old toy slime,
Right.
but
Limited
like
Run
it
would
was like
definitely
goo
do that,
themed.
yeah.
Ah, that would be so cool. And we'd have to get your review. We need to read your blog, Vilas. But you can't open it ever. You can't even tell us how viscous it is or anything.
Wow.
Well, you
No,
can't
I would
because
have
then
to touch it.
it would compromise the integrity of the goo.
But the funny thing is that that's not even close to the only recurring series that's coming back. There was another
Wait, there's more?
revival of it.
I thought World of Goo is as big as it got. They're like
Oh
flagship
no, it
Nintendo.
I mean,
gets
Like,
if you want
bigger.
some more goo, some more ink, some more foam, and all that whatnot, we got Epic Mickey coming back.
Epic
Epic
Mickey.
That
Yes,
one's pretty
Epic
big.
Mickey. With the one,
Yeah.
I think that game is solely responsible for introducing people to what is his name, Oswald. I always get this bunny mixed up with the bunny prototype for Sonic the Hedgehog, because they both used to be rabbits, right? I think it's Oswald the Lonely Rabbit or something like that. Uh, it's
Oh, I
either
know what
Oswald.
you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oswald
uh,
the Lucky Rabbit?
the Lucky Rabbit. Okay.
Thank
Is
you,
that?
Google. I don't know nothing.
Thank
But you
you.
do.
But is that Mickey's prototype or is that Sonic's prototype? This is the question.
Let's see. Walt Disney. So that is Mickey.
Okay, cool. So I think this franchise is actually solely responsible for introducing people to the concept of that character because I don't think that a lot of people knew that about Oswald at all. And so we're getting that on the Switch, and it's a like an epic story, right? I mean, it's Epic Mickey, and I don't really have anything else to say about it, but that you should get that if you haven't experienced it before, because I feel like if I talk about it any more than that, it might spoil some things. But
It's a really quality platformer.
yes, it is. Not a kinetic platformer, but it is a platformer indeed, and y'all should get it. Run, do not walk.
What else have we got on here? We got so many names, so many games in this list.
Super Monkey Ball is on there, which I would consider a kinetic platformer.
Sure.
It's like Marble. It's
You're
like
rolling
Marble
around.
Madness.
Yeah, it's like a
it's
physics-based thing.
like a physics-based sort of thing, and I could not be happier for that because I think the last time I played a really good Super Monkey Ball that I enjoyed was on the GameCube. And I haven't really enjoyed like a Super Monkey Ball experience since. And since the Switch does have gyroscopic properties, I'm wondering if it's going to be kind of like a Yoshi's Tilt and Tumble. What's it? Tilt and Tumble?
Yeah,
Is it?
or Kirby's
It's
Tilt and
Yoshi's.
Tumble.
It's Kirby's Tilt and Tumble. Yoshi's Topsy Turvy. But they were both right. So many
Right.
similarities. But they were both, motion based gyroscopic
I'm
games.
telling
And
you,
so
I'm
wondering-
learning. I've learned more on this episode than I have in a while. Just, I'm tickled. By it.
Nintendo faithful. Look, it's going. We're diving down the rabbit hole now. The Oswald rabbit hole. But Super Monkey Ball's coming back. Completely changing gears for genres at all. Contra is getting a new installment. That is super exciting because I always liked Contra better than Metal Slug anyway. Don't at me.
A new installment?
I'm gonna at you actually.
Why are you gonna at me? You like Contra better than Metal Slug? Tell me why.
No, sorry. I thought you said the opposite just then.
Oh no,
Okay.
no. I said
Yeah,
I've
like
always
Metal
loved
Slug better.
Contra. Yeah,
Ooh,
Contra.
that was a close one, you guys. I thought we were about to slug it out.
Yeah. I mean, we could still do that if you want.
Metal Slug it out. Hey.
Metal Slug. Oh no. Oh no. We got so far into the episode without taking pun.
Hey. Let's see. So Contra, a new installment. What does a new Contra installment look like? Does it just look like the same game, just new? You know?
It actually does bring it's okay, so Contra is constantly in reimagining mode. Literally, I feel like the last 5 Contra games have been quote unquote reimaginings, so I don't honestly know where they officially sit. Like Konami does not know what to do with Contra anymore.
Yeah.
But the video that we saw here was different. It's still, let's see, it's still 2-player co-op, but you can do 4-player arcade mode, so that's legit.
So if anyone's ever played like Broforce, expect that kind of chaos going on.
Yeah, and I mean it's that fake. It's not 2D, 3D, but it's 2D plane, 3D models, so to speak.
So it's not, what was it called? What is it? Octopath Traveler, like Hyper 2D?
No, it's not. It's not 2D HD or
2D
HD.
HD. Thank you.
It's more like some of the modern reimaginings we've seen from Forever Entertainment, like the new Panzer Dragoon and the new House of the Dead and the new Front Mission. So
Okay.
they just changed the visuals
Or like
a little bit.
Double
It looks a
Dragon
little
Neon.
cheap.
Right?
Yeah, that's a little bit closer.
Okay.
But it's the same old Contra, but smoother. Hopefully, that's like the entire point of bringing this series back, making it feel better, and incrementally look better, because it hasn't looked good in a long time. So, I'm slightly interested. I mean, I've got so many beat 'em ups and shooters like this in my backlog. This is not going to get a play very soon. So
I'm disappointed to hear that, because I definitely wanted to play it with you.
Oh, rip. You know what? I wanted to play the Halo series with you, Sid, but we can't always get what we want. Sipsty.
So, Gundam Breaker 4 is coming out.
great segue. There we go.
Gundam Breaker 4, I actually really, really enjoy how thoroughly it seems you can customize your bot. I'm talking like greater levels than we've seen in like Custom Robo or Battle Core robots or anything like that, or like, Daemon X Machina. This seems to be the most in-depth Gundam customization that I've ever seen. I could be wrong because I haven't played a lot of Gundam games, but the Gundam games that I have played have had really deep customization. This game, it feels like you're building an actual Figma. It looks like I put on like a VR headset and I'm physically building a Figma piece by piece by piece after wrenching it from the plastic rack and sticking it in there and hot gluing it in there. It feels like that. Not tedious. Tedious is the wrong word. Painstaking, maybe.
When you say Figma, you mean what?
I mean, like
Gunpla.
the Gundam Gunpla. Should I say? Is it Gunpla? I think it's Gunpla. Okay, Gunpla. Sorry. Don't come at me in the comments. I'm sorry.
I'm not coming at
topsy-turvy.
anybody. Well, is that the name of the IP, or is that the name of like the mech?
It's the name of the like type of toy.
The models.
The model.
Gunpla is models that you create that are technically they can move like action figures. Blah blah blah.
But it's different.
But yeah,
it's different.
Gunpla is a whole thing.
It's a world. It is a world.
Well, then
it is a world.
That's our next bonus episode. Is we dive into the world of Gunpla, and really
people are
hash out
spending hundreds of dollars on single models to.
If that, I feel like
together.
that's being generous. I feel like people have spent a lot more on that than on a single model. That's a bag. That's a mortgage. People spend real, and for me to be able to just log into Gundam Breaker and get that experience myself, I'm good. Thank you. I will buy this game and I will use that Gunpla super detailed customization. And I mean, all of them, they're gonna have different stats and everything, abilities and things like that. It's a Gundam game, of course they are.
I mean, they said you can mix and match parts from over 250 base kits that are already known in the Gunpla world. Like,
It's gonna be a
and
playground, and you can customize their
yeah.
paint jobs. Like you could enter photo mode and create your own little like dioramas. This is like if you are trying to save money this year, if you are into gunpla, like building and collecting and things like that, if you're trying to save some money, please get this game, and maybe even be inspired by it. You can create your own OG Gundam, or not OG, but I mean OG, yes, but OC rather, and actually just have it play out in real time and like fight people and stuff. Like you would never do that with an actual model. You would never take your model over to somebody's house. I mean, if you cared about the financial ramifications, you would never take that and then someone has to be like do and play like clash and bash them against each other like that. So that's what this is scratching for me.
Clash and
That's
bash 'em robots. That's what people are playing.
Actually, that's not a bad. I mean, there's Knock'em Sock'em, right? Clash and bash 'em. Is that going to be the genre?
Yep. And
Oh
then
my
Now that
God.
we're coming up with genre titles,
and then
is that going to be it?
Tipsy Turvy will be the follow up.
Right.
Yes.
The kinetic platformer Tipsy Turvy or Topsy Turvy.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. So we've covered like 7 games. How many games did they cover? I thought this was like a mini direct. You guys?
I mean, I
No,
had
no.
a
I
couple.
said this is the first one that's not a mini.
Oh,
Yeah, it was 25 minutes.
Okay,
Of
okay.
greatness.
Clearly, I watched it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure you watched it 3 times.
No,
back and forth.
back and forth. No, I honestly would rather always hear you guys tell me about it than watching it myself, because there's like the Nintendo Directs have a certain level of context that I feel like I'm sometimes missing. Sometimes it's like, oh, people are really excited about this, and they have been forever. Sometimes that's like World of Goo. Other times it's like a Fire Emblem or even a Final Fantasy. And when you guys talk about it, I actually get context on these things and I get a better understanding than if I just had watched it. Otherwise, I'm just like,
Absolutely.
oh, neat trailer, So this
I
is
was
a ton of
excited for a
games.
couple of
It's
them.
a ton of games.
Yeah. A lot of quote unquote retreads, but at the same time, some big stuff.
Like
My big
Unicorn
one-
Overload.
I mean, that was a whole thing, and I cannot wait. We've got 2 weeks before that game is officially in my hands, alongside the card game that it's going to come with, that I'm totally not going to be obsessed with.
Nope.
But yeah, they dropped that demo for Unicorn Overlord, which is huge. Like, nobody gives you a 7-hour demo that transfers the save to the full game. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
then
wild.
There was Ender Magnolia, which was a surprise announcement. It's the sequel to Ender Lilies, which is a beautiful Metroidvania that I am playing through this year. Thankfully, I already planned on it, but I cannot wait for it. The developer Binary Haze is known for Ender Lilies, obviously, but they also have a game called Redemption Reapers, which is a strategy, like a tile-based strategy game that looks kind of interesting. It might end up on my list, but just for anybody that is interested in the Ender series, Ender Magnolia has some sort of developer thing tomorrow for us, but February 26th.
For everybody else, they're like, when was that? That was 2 weeks ago.
yeah. So February 26th, more info is coming for Ender Magnolia. I'm sure we're probably going to hear about a physical release. We're probably going to get... It didn't look like we'll get a release date, because I think it just said 2024 or 2025. It didn't have an actual date, so I doubt we get a date. But probably some additional cool stuff. Maybe a developer showcase of more gameplay, because it was kind of a short trailer. But that was Ender Magnolia. I was also interested in the fact that Monster Hunter Stories 1 is getting ported to Switch. And not only that, it's cool in itself because it's locked on the 3DS. You can't buy it but physically, and you're going to overpay for it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think last time I looked on the 3DS, I'm pretty sure it's $60 or $70 for a $40 game. But Monster Hunter Stories 1 coming to Switch, and they added voice acting, which is awesome.
Oh, fun. Okay.
They added a few more things I don't quite remember from the trailer, but they added a few things to it, and very obviously hinted that kind of means that maybe there's more to the series coming. So probably a Stories 3. Capcom did make money off of these games, and they're really diversifying the Monster Hunter brand right now. So I am excited. I really want to get into it now because I really wanted to get into the second game, but I was also like, this is a really tight little narrative. It's a serious little JRPG, and I didn't take the time to get into Stories 2 last year like I really wanted to. So I'm happy to buy this full series on Switch. And then a big surprise one that I honestly had no experience in, but it was really cool looking it up because they ended the direct on Endless Ocean Luminous. It's a sequel to a Wii franchise we haven't seen in 14 years.
Good.
And it's beautiful. Endless Ocean, as it sounds, is you're a diver and you're literally just spending time in the ocean. You're seeing all these animals. You're seeing all these beautiful seascapes. Really gorgeous. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of goals. I don't know that there's much outside of like just documenting what creatures are there. But it was modern-ish looking. It didn't look like crap. So that's a good thing. It really gave me a lot of Abzu vibes right off the bat. Obviously, it's not like a fantastical game, but there did seem to be some embellishments on some of the creatures. But the funniest part is that the creators of Endless Ocean are kind of a big deal. They helped Nintendo recently with Tetris 99, Pac-Man 99, and the Mario 35, all the Battle Royale stuff. And hilariously, they are part of the Tekken team. The devs of Endless Ocean are part of the Tekken team.
The fighter.
Yes. Like Tekken 7, Tekken 8. I think they went back a few more Tekkens even. But yeah, I thought that was very interesting, and it was funny that Nintendo ended the whole direct on that because it was the one more announcement sort of situation.
This one
I
will
don't
get
remember
them.
if we got a date for it. Yeah, I don't remember if they put a date on it. I don't think they did. But I am intrigued. That's definitely an interesting time. But it definitely also seemed like a game that might be better suited for whatever the future Switch is going to be. Maybe.
Hell yeah.
So
Switch 2. Sorry, Switch U. I mean,
it's definitely going to test the hardware,
It's actually
when it comes
the
out.
Switch Snap.
interesting.
Because you snap, it's going to be like, I mean, the rumors have been saying that it's going to have a second screen kind of like the 3DS. So you like snap it closed. So it's going to be the Switch Snap, y'all.
Oh.
And also, they already got the
They do.
It writes itself.
They
Yeah,
do.
so the Switch Snap. I'm calling it. You heard it here first.
I heard it here.
I'm using the Mystic Bones. Side effects may include being wrong about this entire thing.
None of these statements will hold up in court. All right.
Let's see. Well, what else is that? I think that's all, huh? That's it. So that's 25 minutes of direct broken apart. Man, Vilas, you know so much more about this stuff than I do. It's crazy.
I mean, there was still a stupid amount of other games on there that I just wasn't quite that interested in. Honestly, like there were a couple anime games, the Demon Slayer and Sword Art Online. Other than that, Shin Megami Tensei 5 has a freaking expansion that's going to be a complete new physical edition that
That's
everybody totally needs
right?
to buy. Yeah, Vengeance. Plenty of games. I would totally be remiss not mentioning Pocket Card Jockey Ride On, which is Game Freak's other franchise.
Oh, I like that they're branching out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a horse racing game with card elements.
Oh, hell yeah.
Were they responsible also for like Theatrhythm? I feel like they had a rhythm game. Weren't they?
I don't know if they had a part in that, but yeah, there were a lot of things in this partner showcase. It was intriguing. Suika game, for those of you that actually
the multiplayer mode, right?
Yeah, did you ever get into Suika game? Because I feel like we don't always talk about the casual games that we play, but Suika game is fun. It's getting multiplayer, so if anybody plays that out there, I played the browser game a little bit. I didn't play it on Switch, so.
I saw it like blowing up on Twitch for whatever reason, and I just played the browser game for like 3 seconds, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Yep,
It's pretty much one of
So
those situations. It's like, oh yeah, I've played puzzle games.
yeah,
Great.
so I didn't really, I mean, it's cute. The fruits are cute, but I didn't really get the draw. I think multiplayer might add another dimension to it that might make it more intriguing to me. Because if it turns out to be something like an attack game, like Pokemon Puzzle League or like Tetris Attack or Puyo Puyo, anything like that, I might actually be inclined to play it because I love games where you send garbage to like other people to like compete with their stuff, and vice versa. I think it adds like a fun little texture to an otherwise just like fun little arcadey puzzle experience.
And I think it is actually supposed to be battles. So there you go.
Oh, fun. Okay.
I
Well,
mean,
hey.
it's not even going to be. I mean, I think the main game is like $3 or
Yeah.
something like that. So let's see, the multiplayer mode is gonna be. Come on, Nintendo site, don't be that slow.
Bum, bada, bum, bum, bum,
It's gonna be
bum.
really expensive. Clearly,
No doubt.
that was real time loading on the Nintendo site. Just saying, $2.25. The expansion pack for Suika game, $2.25. Look at there.
Wow, if that was your real loading time, sounds like you need some Google Fiber.
I haven't.
Oh, God.
That's Nintendo's problem.
Betrayal.
Dude.
But
Oh, okay. Deception.
yeah, you can definitely pre-order the Suika game bundle right now though for a total of $5.24. But the multiplayer mode is not quite available yet. It's coming.
Cool. I'm
But you
actually
can buy
excited
it
to
now.
try that out.
Yeah, I know that we would lose the whole 0 viewers if we didn't talk about Suika game for just that brief second.
That's true.
But yeah, we talked about a lot of the games that showed on that partner direct.
I honestly hope that they
we're very
continue to
excited.
do longer partner showcase directs like that because it's so weird to me how whenever they do like a regular Nintendo Direct and then they have like that 3 minutes of just cramming every little tiny thing in at the end, like 10 seconds of trailer, if even that, of different other games, because then I have to go back to the VOD, pause it, see like what was the name of that game again? What was it like? Things like that.
It's like when the
And then,
Game
of course, we
Awards do the stuff at the beginning, or where they're like, okay, and here are all the things, like some of the things you actually care about. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, they're done. It's like, wait a minute, what? Why'd you cram this in here? I would have watched a full show that was that stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was the Xbox podcast showcase. It's one of those things. And the Nintendo Direct, definitely not a mini partner showcase. Yeah, that's a lot of news from those two guys. What's Sony doing? Who knows? Maybe they're cooking over there.
Hey, they had a state of play like a few weeks back. It
Yeah.
just was not anything that we didn't know about.
Yep.
So,
Seems like they're behind on the direct format of.
hey, we got Death Stranding 2, and we got Stellar Blade. So that's all people like me need.
Did they use
Clearly.
that state of play to announce their new type of controller or whatever that they're trying to push on Twitter now? The dual edge or whatever it's called?
They did mention something about that.
Okay, because I saw them tweet recently. It was like the only tweet that I've ever seen them make about film stars that you could map buttons to like the back buttons on the controller. And I'm like, first of all, those actions are fine where they are. Like they were talking about put your jump on your back button. I'm like, the cross button is right there. Why would I do that? And then they were like, use your special on the back button. I'm like, triangle. Like,
Although I will add, it is kind of funny that like we bring it back to say, okay, so what's Sony doing? But then at the same time that we got the Xbox business update, Sony then released the info of, yeah, so we're kind of taking it easy on our IP, and none of the established IP is gonna come out this year. And it's like, oh, okay. I mean, I'm cool with new stuff. That's fine.
yeah.
Twitter's
is
not
cool.
so fine with that.
Yeah,
But-
well,
I
they
thought,
could
I
be
thought it
bad.
was like the CEO, like one of the CEOs that said something about branching out to like more platforms as like something that they want to explore too. So it seems like that's the flavor of the year.
PC is specifically what they're doing. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I forget what
I'm here
the
for it.
latest release is. Yeah.
More games on
Yeah.
more platforms.
There you go.
Accessibility is always been one of the things that we've preached a lot. So I'm glad to see like it being the year of that.
Yeah. Yeah, making games more available to more people. It's a good thing. Cool. So let's wrap this up then. Let's see. To reiterate what we said at the top of the show, we've got a new schedule. We're doing things a little bit differently. And if you want more information on that, you can check our socials. You can always find our website at partyinvite.games. our Discord at discord.gg/partyinviteshow. And you can find Sid on Twitch at twitch.tv/obsidianite.
With some Y's in there, but not where you think.
And we'll be continuing to air these episodes on Thursdays on Twitch. So we will see you then, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.
Later.